Here, I'll give you a better intro. Oh, now I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm looking forward
I don't know
to
what
it.
I just said. I heard sounds that came out of my mouth, and I don't know what
you said.
I'm like.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of your
I
mouth?
understand the words coming out of your mouth. Channeling my inner black monologue.
Right? Exactly. There you go. Yeah.
That's it right there. Hit the button.
Do what? Hit what button?
That
one?
button.
The musical introduction.
Oh, gosh. Gonna get me in trouble with. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Outer Belt Podcast. I am Patrick, and you all know my crew.
Chili.
Melissa.
Eric.
And Jerry.
Could you? Anyways.
I could be way gayer. Hey, y'all.
I can be way gayer, too. I'm Chili.
No.
No?
I don't know what's happening here either, people.
Sit down now. There's only one token gay guy up in here.
That's true. That's true.
Well, we're coming to you, the morning crew, on WKZR and
Cincinnati. I mean, Columbus.
Columbus, Cincinnati. Do you even know where you're at?
I was doing the show.
What?
You know, the
No.
sitcom.
What's it?
WKRP in Cincinnati.
We are
I have
WOTB.
W what?
OTB.
What are they
In
saying?
Columbus.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You never watched
Our
the
call
sitcom?
sign for our radio station.
Radio station or TV station?
Yeah, that too. We do both. We do radio and TV simulcast.
Well, okay. What? I don't.
Did you ever watch the sitcom? It's definitely before my time, but I'm aware of it.
If there was only a title to this sitcom,
WKRP in Cincinnati.
that's the title of the sitcom.
I think it was just WKRP, wasn't it? Nobody's as old as me. It was WKRP.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
It was a sitcom.
It's a
It
sitcom based
had
in Cincinnati.
Brown. Oh my gosh.
UPS. Chris.
No, a female, blonde,
I know who you're talking
older
about.
woman. Why do I want to call her Candace Brown? That doesn't
Candace
sound-
Burke.
No.
Mad About You.
Stop.
In the name.
Oh, I can't remember.
It's funny we have these devices all sitting
I
in front of
know.
us and no one wants to use it.
Anyway, it was a radio station based at a base. It's kind of like Frasier,
I was just
but
thinking,
before
like,
Frasier.
hello, Seattle.
Right, but it was
I'm listening.
WKRP in
I'm
Cincinnati.
listening.
So, anyways, that's what I was doing it on. In Columbus. It's their
Oh.
theme song.
So it's just a pure coincidence that
You
they're
said you're whatever
90
and-
minutes south of here.
I know. Yep.
Yeah, Lonnie Anderson was on it.
There we go. Who
That's
else?
her.
Tim Reed.
Go
Okay.
on.
Murphy Brown?
Is
Murphy
that who it
Brown.
was?
Murphy Brown was a TV character herself.
But
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
is that
that-
character?
That's Candace
Uh,
Burke, right? Wait, is Murphy Brown Candace Burke? No. Who is Candace Bergen?
Bergen.
Yes.
That's who I thought was on WKRP. Maybe it was
Everybody
Lonnie
listening
Anderson.
to this is like,
Yeah,
what
what
is
is
happening
going
here?
on?
So first
What did
off,
we
Vince,
we
could
just
you
jumped
tell
right
us
into the middle of the
Off-
when it
conversation.
aired?
Off the rails.
When it aired, though.
When did WKRP air? It aired for 4 seasons.
1824.
1978
Wow.
to 1982, if I'm getting my 4 seasons correctly.
I was a very youngster. Again,
That's
I barely remember.
well, Vince. You're of a different
I
generation.
am of a different generation, yes.
I
I
wasn't
recall
even
watching WKRP in Cincinnati. As the full title is WKRP in Cincinnati.
Okay. Was it good? Was
Yeah.
it a comedy? What
It
kind
was
of?
a comedy,
a sitcom.
yes. It was a sitcom.
I can't really say much because right now, we're in the middle of watching The Love Boat, and,
Right.
and,
The
and
Love Boat. Oh, sorry.
soon will be. So we were. That was I think 78, 77, 78, something like that. So.
You may have to go down this rabbit hole eventually.
I can't imagine. I'm already doing one radio show, Frasier. It is so boring.
What?
So, I'm so conflicted on Frasier. I really am. Because there are moments of cinematic genius
Yeah.
embedded amongst the most dull, boring, the absolute worst of humanity. And then they'll be like, just drool, just horrible.
Sure.
And then 2 scenes later, you'll get something that should win an Emmy. Like it's just, or not an Emmy, would it be an Emmy?
Those are
A
daytime
Tony?
Emmys.
Daytime Emmy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable how bad it can be and great at the same time.
Yeah.
I grew up watching Seinfeld, the greatest, comedy ever written. And there's no moments of like boredom. There's
Right.
no moments of like, I can't really get in this episode right now. Every single episode is a hit. And then
I'm with Jerry.
Frasier is like,
I'm with Jerry. So the Love Boat aired for 10 years, from 77 to 87.
okay, I'm in 78, 70. I'm in season 2, so
Okay, so 78.
78, yeah.
We've got a lot to go
Yeah.
through.
Yes, we got a long way to go. Good thing is we have a long time to get there.
Yeah.
Wonder
There's
when
no
the,
rush.
No,
wonder
no
when the
rush.
princess is going to turn into the queen.
What? Oh, that's funny. The Pacific Princess, the cruise ship
Yes.
they're on. Geez, you know why they discontinued it, right? They had to scrap the ship. They were like, we sold it.
Right, the ship
Carnival
was
operates
Mardi Gras,
this
yeah.
now. It's not. They renamed it the Mardi Gras. But
Well, I'm
it's-
glad I can educate you on WKRP
I appreciate that.
in
I really do.
Cincinnati.
All
Is
right.
it have to be sung? You can't say it. You have to.
Once you watch the show,
Yeah, it's like the Love Boat theme.
The Love
See?
Boat.
yeah, same way.
Don't
Yeah.
get me started. I'll sing the whole thing.
See, I know. I've heard it. See, I was in middle school band, and we played theme from The Love Boat. I'd never heard the song, didn't know anything about it. I played saxophone. It was a really cool kind of symphonic song, and I never watched it at all. I remember there was like a The Love Boat 2 or something that came out in the early 2000s, like a remake of it or something. I think it only lasted like a season. That one I'd never watched, but I remember thinking like, oh, okay, well this is coming back out. I played the song in band, so it made sense, right? But now that I'm back watching it, I'm like, it's so good. It's so good. It's genius writing. It's clever. It's talk about heartstrings. It pulls on heartstrings. It makes you laugh.
Yeah.
It's a really well thought out television show. I can't wait to see. I mean, the fact they went on for 10 years, I'm actually, where do they go from here?
Yeah, then there were 5 specials that aired between 86 and 1990 after the show had stopped.
Wow.
Okay, kind
There
of like
were
Columbo
5
did.
specials.
Columbo, towards the end there, they quit doing the regular seasons of Columbo. They just moved on to Columbo specials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that show.
Love Columbo.
Yeah, great show.
Last episode's great. They got because the last episode actually has like actors I know. And he's like at a hip hop discotheque kind of club and all this stuff. So it's like, oh, this all makes sense.
The trench coat with all the pockets was amazing.
And
Oh my
he's
gosh.
saying, and one more
One
thing.
more thing.
Steve Jobs stole that from him. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
that whole one more thing that Steve Jobs used to do when he was doing presentations.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see a cigar.
We didn't do the cigar thing. He just did the one more thing thing.
What was Columbo's cigar budget?
I think they just used the same. Did you ever smoke the cigar?
I don't.
He just
Yeah,
chewed
yeah.
on
No,
it, I
he did.
think.
He lit it a few times. Remember
Okay.
one time he lit it in an
Alright.
elevator, and they were
Yeah.
like, "You can't be here with your cigar."
Well, he's using Swisher Sweet, so it wasn't a whole lot.
No, it wasn't. He was using like a torpedo. Like it was a
Yeah.
real deal,
Full-size
legit,
cigars.
full size cigars. And now that I have a
Swisher
cigar,
Sweets are full-size cigar. No, I guess they're not.
no, they're not. They're cigarettes.
No, I'm
they
thinking
are.
of plastic mouthpieces.
Plastic tips.
I miss
yeah.
wood tip swishers. They were the best. But now that I buy cigars and I'll have one every now and again, like a normal like torpedo size or what's the other one?
The Toro.
A Toro. They're expensive. For him to be like smoking them all, like for me, it's a special event or like, a nice day outside and nothing else is going on or whatever. But he's every day, all day.
Yeah, but
That's why he didn't smoke
there
them because
was a-
they're so expensive.
there was a different market for them then too. They weren't as expensive, even adjusted for inflation. They weren't as expensive then as they are now.
I get
That
that.
was pre-cigar boom.
Okay.
You know?
Before Cigar Aficionado
Exactly.
And
way
Ha-
before cigar.
and
aficionado.
Havana Club pairings with Cuban cigars and all
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Well, since we're on the topic of television shows,
Yeah.
I would like to switch things over to their close relative movies. I heard that, Melissa, you had the opportunity to watch my generation's Schindler List, Austin Powers, and
Who told you this?
A fly on the
Dr.
wall.
Evil, probably.
Dr. Evil. So, now that you've seen one of the greatest, I don't think it's the greatest, I think that's reserved for Dumb and Dumber, but one of the greatest comedies of literally my generation, what'd you think?
How old were you when you watched it?
I was the right age. whatever that means to you,
Yeah,
that was the right age for it.
14.
11, 12,
All
11. I
right.
think it was 11 or 12. Comedic genius.
No.
What?
Painful.
Stop it.
Yep.
Stop it.
Stupidity.
I knew going into the movie it was going to be slapstick, right? I've watched my fair share of slapstick.
Okay.
Men in Tights. Princess Bride. So on and so forth.
Good.
Okay, but
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
so I knew there was going to be some slapstick.
So,
But this was,
go on.
I just didn't get it. And I get that there's supposed to be a little something innuendo reference to James Bond. I haven't seen a lot of James Bond movies.
Okay.
The few I've seen, I didn't get the reference.
That's because there's no direct reference.
Okay,
The 30,000 foot view
sure.
is, but there's no direct reference.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, it's like the Bond opens with an action scene, right?
Yes.
Columbo. I'm still on that. Austin Powers opens with the dance scene,
Sure.
Yes.
right? So it's
It's different.
different, similar, but
They're
different.
setting the tone immediately. I
Yes.
think that's what I
They're
love about
setting-
the show. They immediately set the tone. They immediately let you know what you're going in for.
I am glad it was a cooler day when we watched it, so there wasn't really any need to go outside. I won't be watching sequels.
What?
And
Austin Powers-
we can put that one on the check. Melissa's seen that one.
You don't want to see The
Man.
Spy Who Shagged Me
No,
or Goldmember?
negative. But that's okay.
I went through a lot of work to get him for it too.
Oh man,
And,
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were a must-watch and we had to watch
They
them
are.
for
It's
research
must-see
purposes,
TV.
I will watch them. But it wasn't my cup of tea. I'm so sorry for you, Austin Powers.
To the mood.
I thought it
No.
was. I thought it was great. I thought it was so classic. The whole unnecessarily slow dipping mechanism to kill Austin Powers and his woman, and the son's like, "I have a gun in my room. We can go kill him together." Like, it was so funny.
Yeah.
The whole zip it thing. Did you watch the whole film?
I did watch the whole film. There was no napping.
Hello, I'm here with my. How do you say it? Hello, I'm Richard Cunningham, and this is my wife, Oprah. I died. All right. Well, it obviously wasn't for you. Well, thank you for at least watching it
Yeah.
and trying.
I tried.
And I will be trying to watch that movie you want me to watch. Can't think of the name of it. What's it called? The Hills. Sound of Music.
I don't want you to watch that one.
Oh, okay.
I've never even watched it.
Am I the only one here who has?
I have many times
If you
What
like
movie?
musicals, it was
because
a really good one.
yes, and I had a daughter. I have a daughter, and she loved to watch that movie and sing it, and I could probably sing the words to those
Are you
songs
serious?
just as well
Am
as
I
I can to
learning
the
something
Lion
new about
King.
you
No
today?
necessary.
That was based in World War II when Hitler was coming to power.
Yes, it was based
Austria,
So there's
Switzerland.
some
just
historic,
before World War II. Yeah,
some historic value.
mm-hmm. It does.
What movie did we watch though that I thought was great? That little it was a comedy, The Spy, the girl right in the book.
Oh, just recently, the other day,
Yeah,
Argyle.
great movie.
Haven't seen Argyle yet. I
Argyle
want
was
to
fun.
watch
was
it.
good.
It was a good movie.
It was a good
Yeah.
movie.
Good movie.
I just watched Lift. With Kevin Hart, and it's about them stealing gold. It-
Ooh.
Oh, we watched that one.
It was quite good. It came
Does,
out this
does
year.
it open in an auction?
Yes.
Yeah, we watched that
We
one.
did watch that
We
one.
did watch that one.
I
That
thought
a
it
good
was
movie.
very good. I was
movie.
impressed. There was a
Yeah.
couple scenes felt forced,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
do recommend people watch it. Well, I am really sad that you didn't
Sorry.
enjoy the movie as
sorry.
much as I hoped you would. Jerry, your thoughts?
It's worth seeing once. I'm not a huge Austin Powers fan.
You're the
I've
oddball,
seen
Patrick.
all of them.
I
Oh, there you
literally,
go.
I
You've
literally,
got that
I
more
can
than me.
picture my head, that's funny. I can picture in my head being in the rotunda at church discussing us going to see Austin Powers and how we were going to not let our parents know we were going to go see that movie.
Oh, I can see.
And we were going to go see a different movie to go see it, like, and just quoting it and right, like, so much of that. It was great. I listened to The Fly on the Wall, which is with
David Spade,
David Spade and
Church Lady.
who's also goes by Dana Carvey.
Yes, there you go.
And
I knew that would help you.
thank you. They were talking about they were talking with Lorne Michaels. Lorne Michaels is the producer of Saturday Night Live. He's pretty famous. He's been doing it now almost 50 years.
Ever?
I think this is his 50th year actually this year. And they're talking about who's going to take it over next. But Lorne Michaels, who talks just like Dr. Evil.
Yes.
If you ever heard him do an interview, which he doesn't do many, it's just like Dr. Evil. He was talking with Dana Carvey, and he was like, "Do you think Mike Myers made Dr. Evil based on me?" And Dana was like, "No, I can't
No.
imagine that at all."
Well, Mike
I mean-
Myers was a player on SNL, so
He was.
He spent time with Lauren.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Mike Myers is great. I mean, I was just thinking, I'm like, Mike Myers has basically done 3 movies. You know, he's done Wayne's World, Austin Powers, and Shrek.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
in those three characters, he's made 94 movies, but it's only been 3 characters. That's a heck of
Wow.
a
That's all he
a
needs.
career off 3
What
characters.
did I tell you though after we watched it? I did give you my negatives, but then I told you too. For the day and time that it was made, I can appreciate the audience that it was intended for. And I could see how it could be a great video or movie for those viewing it for that specific audience. For me, it wasn't, it probably never would have been my type of movie to watch. For me. But for those that it was trying to target, totally can see and I can appreciate how it could be funny and slapstick and all of that and make you just giggle the whole way through. But for me personally,
You didn't appreciate the fembots.
no.
I asked you the same question.
What about the guy getting run over by the steam?
Why didn't he just move? He had ample time.
I know, it's so funny.
He froze
what about being
like a deer in the headlights.
What about being stuck like Austin Powers trying to turn the cart around?
Okay, that was funny. In fact, Vince is like, does this remind you of Beverly Hills? So we had a good laugh about that.
I think it became funnier after I was a truck driver.
Absolutely.
Like,
The 57,000 point turn.
Yep.
And do you really get anywhere?
I mean, how many times have you done a 38-point turn? Like, it
Oh,
happens.
my goodness.
It happens.
The
You?
3-point turn, you find out what a joke. Like,
You?
in
Exactly,
trucking, you just keep going, and eventually you'll get it right. I want to ruin. I'm not going to ruin the second movie for you
Okay, in case I happen
in
to watch
case you
it.
happen to watch it. But the second movie picks literally right up where the first movie left off. If you just saw the first 5 minutes of that movie, anyways.
Well, I'm glad that a little fly on the wall told you that we had watched it.
Real quick, let's talk briefly about my weight loss. There hasn't been any. So,
The end.
The end. Move on.
yeah. So I don't know. I've been struggling. Like, I'll do really great in the first 10 hours of the day. And at night, I tend to blow it. You know, like, I've been doing really good. And then all of a sudden, it just goes to hell in a handbasket. I don't know what to do. I'm so.
Can
like,
you rearrange your schedule? Can
and
you interrupt that time where you're eating? Just making suggestions, not saying to do it.
I don't know. Like, go to the gym? Ugh.
Would you be more willing to maybe scrap Octavia?
No.
In favor of something that is more keto-ish, high fat, so you're not getting those carb cravings?
No, because I think it's boredom. So throughout the course of my day, in general, I have something to do all the time. And, at night, usually around 10 o'clock, is when I'm like, ooh, a snack would be great right now. And it's like I could go for the Octavia thing, but my brain goes for anything but.
So what if you don't have those snacks in the house anymore, and all your only snacking option is the Octavia snack?
Including an extra bar throughout your 5 fuelings. Meaning if you ate a 6th one, that's okay.
So I am discovering another issue with the bars. So I have braces. They're not the easiest thing in the world to see. I actually like the way the doctor did them, or the orthodontist did them. The bars are actually kind of hard for me to eat.
Yeah, I bet.
And I didn't know that was going to happen. So I've had braces for a year and a half now, but they've only been up top, and I've had a little bracket on the bottom, but not much. Now they did full braces on the bottom because I'm just in that phase, and now it's like, wow, eating has really become a challenge.
Eating in general.
Is the problem biting them or just the chewing?
It's
both.
Both biting
So I was going
and
to suggest
chewing.
cutting them up into small pieces.
Maybe
but
that would
might-
help.
Or just maybe dip them in
So
some
you're
hot
not
water
biting.
Yeah,
and make a tea out of them.
a
No.
tea.
Definitely
with the
smaller,
blender?
trying to chew with
Yeah,
the
there
back
you go.
molars
Yep.
as
Yeah.
opposed to biting it off.
I also have these little spacer things in my mouth, so my teeth can't completely close. Now that, in theory, my teeth are moving, so that won't be necessary very long, but I still have them right now, and so my teeth don't close all the way. So you can
They're
imagine,
not touching.
you'd imagine how do you eat granola bars when you
Yeah,
can't
you can't.
completely close your
Oh,
mouth.
That's a good point.
Now
Well-
some of the bars, like the chocolate peanut butter one,
Yeah.
it doesn't have any granola at all, or any
Right.
rice or
So you
anything
can just
like
kind of
that.
melt it away.
Those work fine.
Yeah.
And there's
They
been a
also
few
have
others.
the puddings and the soups.
I do the puddings and the soups, and I like those. I'm sorry, I do not the soups, actually. I did the soups on my first couple orders. I've tried all their soups, and they're garbage. I don't like them.
Yes.
Yes, they're not garbage. To me, they're not good.
Correct. Like Austin Powers.
Yes. What? But the other stuff is, so, for example, the feeling of the night, which is the rustic herb penne pasta.
Yum.
This is literally, I don't remember if you liked it or not. This is literally one of my favorite.
Sriracha.
It's one of my favorite fuelings. This one is outstanding. I know I said about the chili last week, but this one actually is one of my favorites. But I love pasta. So obviously the mac and cheese, this one, it's got robust flavor. It actually is pretty flavorful. I don't doctor this one at all. It's one of the ones that I just cook straight. Now I know there's a lot of people. If you were to go on Octavia, there is a Facebook group you go on, and a lot of people share like little hacks they do for these. A lot of people do the hot sauce. I haven't necessarily seen sriracha, but I've seen hot sauce, or I've seen maybe like a little more water to make it a little more runny, or however
Yeah.
people like it.
I've seen the wedge of Laughing Cow
Yes,
to make it creamy. I've seen cheddar
Yep.
cheese, but that's all part of your fats that you're allowed to
Absolutely.
have
So you-
within your lean and green.
exactly. So I have seen people do that as well. I forgot about the laughing cow thing.
Are you allowed to put pepper, salt,
Salt and
seasoning
pepper.
Yeah.
stuff?
Yes, you have to watch your salt because a lot of us that are on Octavia, salt, it can be easy to get too much salt. I don't know how to put that. Like,
Overdo it.
when you're a larger person, you tend to have more salt than you should, and so, but the opposite's also true. When you're on a diet, you can lose that salt very easily. So,
Right.
so it's a balance. You got to be careful. They do talk about salt because it's electrolytes and it works with the electrical system of your body. You have to have it. So they actually do talk about that in the literature you get, and making sure you are properly getting that salt. Yeah, you can add all that. Again, I actually like it exactly the way it is, so I don't add any of that stuff to it because I think this is really, really good. It's one of the ones I really like. And it's a 2-part cook, and which I think also helps a lot with how it does. It takes a long time. It's like 7 minutes or 8 minutes to cook this thing.
Yeah.
It's not a quick one. That's
you're-
one. It's not a soup, but it's along the same lines. That's
Sure.
super easy. Eat it with a spoon, and I have no issues with it.
So when you're getting bored late at night, can you be doing something like cross stitch? I know you don't cross stitch. Can you color in a coloring book? I'm not saying that that's not for
I
men.
play Tetris a lot.
Is there something you can be doing? Also, my other thing was, could you eat another fueling, or could you maybe go on your Facebook group and see how to change one of your fuelings into a snack product? So,
Yeah.
because you're probably looking for crunch. Most people who are overweight are looking for a crunch sound going on in their head. When we say snacky, you're looking for a crunch. You're fulfilling the crunch sound.
So I really think a big part of that is getting rid of the snacks out of the house. The stuff that you shouldn't
Yeah.
be eating, that you're possibly looking at as a cheat time where you're going to have that snack. Get rid of those snacks. That way you don't have that temptation. And then don't pull out your phone and Instacart
I was
the
about
snacks,
to say, you got to
right?
eliminate
So that's what I was-
access
So
to the
that
internet.
part of that is that discipline of not doing those things and going and having the Octavia popcorn maybe and giving it time to hit you that you've had that snack.
So I think, so two parts to that. One is I'm not the only one in the house.
I understand.
So, but I am the only one that needs to lose weight. So other people can have snacks.
Sure.
I can't. So just completely getting rid of the house, I don't think is going to happen. But even if they did, my go-to is to jump on Uber Eats and grab
Sure.
something. And again, this is not healthy. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just
No,
a
I get
real
it.
like, how do I mentally shake this?
Sure.
How do I mentally get out of this? Yes, I could, and I've literally gotten up out of the couch, walked into the pantry. Well, not into the pantry. My pantry's like a little
Closet.
I guess you'd say, but you can't walk in it. Looked at the Octavia, and then grabbed the Fritos.
Yeah.
Like I've literally done that, where it's like I'm having that
Sure.
thought. I know this is what I need to be doing. I know this is the right thing to do, and then I do something else, and it's frustrating because that's all a mental thing of how do you snap out of that? How do you get out of it? How did I do it before? How do I get back into it now?
Sure.
Because I have lost weight. Like since y'all have been watching this, I've lost 20 pounds almost, 17 pounds. So like I've already lost weight on it. It's just the past few weeks, it's like I stalled and I'm having a hard time getting the lawnmower going again.
Sure.
Are
I
you
don't
the
think any of us are saying anything negative. We're just simply giving suggestions.
No, I agree.
I know I'm in the same boat as you. Shoot, we've had ice cream 3 nights in the last 7 days.
You've had ice cream?
Don't go there. My skills are tipping 200 if we want to be honest.
I'd kill for that.
Well, for me,
They're granted I'm a foot taller than you,
and
but
it
then
could be
you know,
part of my mood that I've been in the last few days.
you know.
But those are my problems. So again, this is not an attack. I'm just simply
Absolutely
saying,
not.
can you make some minor adjustments because it's all baby steps.
Yeah.
And a lot
the-
of times, go ahead, Jared. I'm
I
sorry.
was just gonna say, are you the type of person that would benefit from maybe a note in the pantry of "Don't touch
Yeah.
Patrick"?
I don't know. I know we had candy in the house. Y'all saw it. There was a lot of candy.
Yeah, it
A lot of
was.
It
candy.
was.
By the way, that was Instacart. And all that candy got relocated to Eric's office, and I have not touched it since. So maybe there's something to it.
Yeah. So maybe it's time to have a conversation with other members of the household and say, hey, can we adjust what our snack levels look like for certain things?
Yeah.
And see if they're maybe willing to compromise on that.
I can contest to that because in my household, like I'm trying to lose weight and Don doesn't. So he keeps all his snacks, he keeps everything to him hidden out of sight. So I don't see it. He has his little hiding places that I know nothing about. So if he wants a little snack, usually after I go to bed, he can have whatever he wants. And
Yeah.
I mean, whenever we was on the road, I used to be fasting and stuff, and he would go in the grocery store or go in the truck stop, take a shower, and then he would eat a candy bar before he got back to the truck. Like,
Oh my gosh, I remember talking to you so many times, and you'd be like, "Yeah, I think he's inside eating Arby's." Like there'd be always like so like
but he's respectful in that sense that he keeps his snacks to him and his hidden places, so that way I don't see it.
That makes sense. We don't have snacks in our household.
We don't.
We buy them. Let's say Cheez-Its. We'll buy them. And that box will be a one and done. Every 3 months, maybe I'll buy a box.
Yeah.
Ice cream. Yes, we've done it 3 times this week, a pint apiece. But now it'll probably be a one and done for 3 or 4 months. So we don't have bread products. We don't have cereals, Pop-Tarts, bagels, nothing. There's no processed food in our house. I don't even have canned goods in our house. Everything we do is either fresh or I buy frozen vegetables. But there's no canned goods.
Yeah, most of our dinners are fresh. I mean, you've seen what
Yeah,
we do.
Right,
yeah,
Most of
ours
that's
are fresh too.
Sure.
We buy produce like every 3 days or every 2 days if we're eating produce, bananas. But there's no snacks. Dark chocolate, that's our weakness when we're not snacking. We buy like 72% or darker.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate, and we'll eat like a square or two a piece for dessert, and that'll be it.
Well, Patrick was telling y'all this afternoon before the show what I'll do. My 1 egg.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Even that would be better than what I've been doing.
Sure.
You know. And what's funny is there's been a couple of times I've been like, I'm not going to snack because I don't want to eat snacks and I don't want to get all that, and then I'll end up like Ubering eat something, which is just way worse than any kind of snack I have in this house.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I've seen what shows up in the 2 bags of Taco Bell.
One of those is
Sometimes.
yours. One of those
One
is
of
yours.
those is yours.
What do I eat, Patrick? If I do Taco
Chicken
Bell with
quesadilla,
you,
which is all bread.
One chicken quesadilla.
Anyways, we'll see how it goes next week. It's 277.8.
Just keep preserving.
Persevering.
Yeah,
Preserving too.
I'm preserving. All right, I need to fight through it. I'd like to, push through this little shelf I'm at. I'm
You'll
sure
get
there'll be
there.
more. I'm sure there'll be more shelves.
Sure.
Huh.
I have a feeling I'll probably get down to like 265, and
I
then
think
I'll hit
that's
a
part
shelf
of the
again.
journey, and I think that's part of being real with viewers.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not easy. It's
No.
we all know that. I
It's-
mean,
It's
a
brutal.
struggle.
Why is it so easy and fun to put on the weight? That's my question. I don't understand. I don't get it.
I've also wondered if the time you start to get hungry, go to sleep. Call it the end of the night. I know that's hard for me to do, and that would be a major project for the both of us.
That'd be hard to pull off.
Especially when you're binging The Love Boat.
How
can you walk away from that?
Well, we're
YouTube's going to pull us for copyright infringement. We have so much Love Boat music in here.
I don't think so.
The La La Boat.
Melissa's like, I love that you think you're that good. Speaking of Melissa, there was a article you shared with us, and I actually saw it. It was all over Ohio
I
news
know
for the
it was.
past few days. Oh my gosh, there's nothing you can find out but about the
Superload.
Superload.
Superload. I'm so excited
It's
about
just
this.
like the Super Bowl, only different.
I would actually. So first and foremost, I would actually like to go and watch one of these maneuver a corner on a back road.
Did you see a video of one?
I did.
I saw one too.
I
It
did.
was like, oh.
Okay, so let's talk about the Superloads. They're traveling through the state of Ohio. It's the first of their kind. I made some.
What is a Superload?
It's a super heavy load that a tractor trailer is pulling, but it's all special gear, special trailer. They even have a man in a special car-ish thing on the backside of the trailer, kind of like a fire engine, navigating the backside. So this is a really huge load.
So it's not just heavy, but it's big.
It's big, it's long. I have some details here. So right now, the first one has already made its way through Ohio. And that's
Can I
what
ask
we've
one
been
more
watching.
question?
Yeah.
Why are these Superloads traveling through Ohio?
I'm getting there.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
tell my article.
All right.
So I took some lovely notes. So the second Superload is scheduled to leave on 3/14, so
Pi Day.
March 14th, to start its journey across Ohio. And again, this is just going across the Ohio.
So that's already
So
happened
it's already
yesterday.
started
a
2
few
days ago.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. And it is the second of 2 dozen over the next
2
several months.
dozen?
They're going to do 2 dozen of these Superloads.
I didn't
okay?
realize it was that many. I saw the
It's a
news
lot.
Yes.
articles, but I didn't realize it
2
was that
dozen.
That's a
many.
lot.
over the
Holy,
next step.
that's like 24.
It's exactly 24,
Yes.
actually. Yeah.
So
And
the
now
That's
that you
just a
mention
baker's
it.
dozen.
The first load that just did its trek weighed 390,000 pounds, 18 feet 3 inches tall,
Oofa.
Yeah.
18 feet 6 inches wide,
Wow.
and 200 feet long.
Jeez. That's
And it's
two-thirds of a
it's a
football field.
single piece of wrapped steel. So they've wrapped it like in plastic to keep it covered. But it's one single piece of steel. Okay. You ready for this one? The largest load will be 900,000 pounds.
Wow. Could Thor bench press
19 feet
that?
wide.
It's half a ton.
19 feet
That's not
wide.
half a ton. That's
24 feet high. And 270 feet long. It's going to be the
Wow.
biggest load. So can you put that in just quickly? I have some more statistics. This is a really cool thing that they're doing. How big are our vehicles?
40 feet long,
And
13 feet 6 inches tall, 8.5 feet wide.
and at max they weigh about
6,000
46,000 pounds.
Yeah.
the largest one's going to weigh 900,000 pounds.
Now an 18-wheeler weighs 80,000 pounds.
Right.
Correct.
Typical one.
Yeah.
So this is 11.2 18-wheelers.
So
Imagine
this,
the
11.2
number,
fully
yeah.
loaded
Yeah.
18-wheelers.
Yeah.
Imagine the number of axles that you need for 900,000 pounds.
At least 4.
At least 4.
Now imagine for a
Maybe
second.
5.
Imagine for a second what happens if you blow one tire out. What do you do?
So it's kind of the equivalent to hauling 100 cars.
That's a huge bottle jack to get that thing jacked up to change the
Right.
tire.
right?
What do you call TA? What do they do? Come out there with their little road squad guy in a van.
That's funny.
Sorry.
It's equivalent to hauling 100 cars. The truck driver had to go as slow as 10 or 15 miles an hour. And again, this is across the whole state of Ohio. Okay. Dips in the road, the driver had to stop and put blocks under the semi to raise it so it wouldn't scrape the road.
Oh yeah, we've had that issue before.
Again, behind the rig was another driver that would help steer it around corners.
Actually attached to the rig.
Attached to the rig.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To help him navigate
Right.
around roads. So each load is escorted by state highway troopers. Any obstructions along the route, such as large overhead signs, traffic signals, utility lines, they all have to be adjusted and moved. So it's taken 1 year to make this all happen and plan. So out ahead of the truck, the utility people would raise the lines so that these 18, 19-foot trucks, material could get out and be able to do it.
I read that in some of the utility lines, they've actually been raised permanently because there are so many of these loads coming through. So they're not going
was
out there
cheaper
every
just
couple
to-
of weeks. Just cheaper just
Oh,
to
that
raise it
makes
and leave it up
sense.
there. Yeah.
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It takes about 8 to 15 days to travel. The actual item is arriving to Ohio via a barge up the Ohio River. So it's coming off the Ohio River from a barge onto a truck. There are no road closures, but there are slow rolling roadblocks. The city of Columbus specifically wouldn't permit a St. Patrick's Day travel. So that's all being shut down. Like they have to park it. And I know that they're parking at Rickenbacker Airport when it's time to stop and have a rest.
Well, that's one of their mini stops because these things aren't
Oh,
traveling
yeah.
the whole way in one day or
No,
2
because
days.
they're
That's one of their
taking
mini
back
stops.
roads
Yeah.
because they can't take the freeway. They've got to take every back road possible.
And even some of the state highways they're taking, they're going the wrong way on the highway purposely
because that bridge can handle the weight.
well, because it allows for wider turns
Oh, I see.
when they're turning off. Like if they're traveling northbound on a southbound highway, making a right-hand turn when they get off, it allows for that wider turn.
Yeah.
Which is it's interesting to read the articles on this stuff.
I was watching Channel 10 News, and they were talking about it one morning, and there was a stretch of highway. Sorry, I don't remember the highway name, but they were showing it on the news and everything, and they were actually showing like probably about I think it was like 10-mile stretch or something that they had a drone in the air and everything. Like it was just literally taking up corner, like side to
Yeah.
side, like the whole entire
Yeah.
road as they went down. And as you said, they were doing the rolling roadblocks, like they were stopping traffic way ahead, and then they would go, and then they would let traffic go by, and then they would move again, and it was crazy.
Well, I did see something peculiar. I don't know if it's related or not, but it's a very interesting or very weird. I thought we were headed down to Kentucky this past weekend, and there was a big sign, a couple of them that we passed in Ohio, that said on the way down to Cincinnati that said, like, any load over 100,000 pounds or something like that must be permitted by the whatever office. I've never seen those signs in Ohio before,
Wow.
ever.
Interesting.
And all of a sudden, I heard about these super
Yeah.
heavy moves, and now that's popping up.
So we haven't
So
talked
I'm
about.
wondering if something's happening.
We haven't talked yet about why they're doing these moves. What this equipment is for? Have
Oh,
we?
what is it for?
So
Intel?
yeah, Intel's
Correct.
building 2 big processor plants.
These
New
are
Albany?
for Intel?
Yeah.
Yep.
New Albany and Hebron, Ohio,
Yes.
Wow.
which is just east. Both of them are just northeast of Ohio, of Columbus here.
Yeah.
So that's what all these large pieces of equipment are coming in for. Is for these 2 Intel plants. So
And so
I
are
think
they,
we're
they
going to see.
concrete?
We're going to hang on one second. We're going to see, I think, other loads, oversized loads that aren't as large as these that might be traveling those highways. So I think that
could
may be
be.
why the permit required signs come up. I'm sorry, what were you asking? Are they concrete
Yeah.
or what concrete?
No, they're steel metal. I already answered that question. What are they again? Because the one looked like, if I was looking at the one, it looked like on the Ohio River, nuclear.
So Intel's building chip plants, computer chips plants here in Ohio.
Okay.
Right, so there's lots of equipment, high-tech equipment, that's required to manufacture these chips.
Which could
So
be
that's
nuclear.
what's coming in, is these big pieces of equipment. Imagine any kind of processing or manufacturing where you're going to have large pieces of equipment to manufacture things. So that's what all this is the larger equipment that they need for
I see.
manufacturing.
Okay.
That's crazy. I'd love to see.
It was a pretty amazing. Oh, sorry. What I did see, it was that video of it coming around the corner.
Yeah.
Had the guy on the engine part on the back, and the one guy was way in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that looks like gravel. I hope he doesn't go too far.
Now, I would like to throw in one little comment.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what this driver's being paid?
Oh, yeah.
I did see
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
say mad respect.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
a comment,
Oh, yeah.
direct quote from somebody.
Normal
was mad
oversized
respect.
loads already make the
They
big
make
money.
a little money. Yeah, they do.
This guy's got to be getting
He's gotta
paid.
be.
Imagine
He's
his
gotta be.
your insurance.
What were you going to say to me?
Imagine the engine
Yeah.
running like 2,000 RPM to go 10
Right.
miles an hour.
Yep.
Um,
What's his fuel economy look like?
a couple
How do you
gallons a
even
mile.
get into the fuel? Like, are the fuel trucks coming to him to fuel?
They've
probably
gotta be
are.
bringing
I mean,
fuel
that
to 'em.
big.
Like,
yeah.
he's not pulling through Love's truck
No.
stop.
I'm assuming they're having field trucks. So, like, we've had FedEx trucks do staging loads. Especially, it's super popular when you're doing FEMA work, so like emergencies. But also, like, we've worked with pharmaceutical companies when they're replacing a refrigerator or something. Well, when they're doing that, all the stuff has to come out and go somewhere, so they'll use a custom critical truck.
Huh?
And because the trucks can't move, they will actually bring a tanker out that has a regular, it's like designed to fill a truck
Right.
up from there. It's not the big, huge hose they have at a truck stop. It's a regular hose, and they'll come and fill the truck up at that point. So I'm assuming they're doing the exact same thing because they're burning through some diesel.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you can't, even on our little trucks, you go 10 miles an hour, you're burning a lot of diesel.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird speed that trucks really aren't designed to go. And so it does burn through a lot of fuel. That's so cool. I want to see a documentary on YouTube. That's what I was going to go with this. I'd like to see a documentary on YouTube where they actually go through and explain what is this equipment, how is it used at
Yeah.
Intel,
That'd be really cool. to
how
see.
what are these pieces of equipment that, like, this has got to be costing Intel a fortune.
Oh yeah.
Something that is so big it's either like a one-piece cast, so you can't move it because it's just one piece.
Right.
Like I think of like a bridge beam or things like that, where it's just one giant piece. They'll do this. They're not as big or it's heavy, but still, or like we see them all over the Midwest. A windmill.
A wind
That's one.
turbine.
A wind
Yeah.
turbine. The
Blade,
blades
just the blades.
are
yeah.
a single piece of fiberglass, and you can't put them together with bolts and stuff because that creates a weak point. It'll fracture. So they have to be made as one solid piece.
What scares me watching them travel down the road is the follow car, where the blade is right here in the windshield. Like, you really got to follow that close. What they do,
Yeah.
so nobody cuts in front of it,
Yeah.
behind the truck. Right? It's crazy, but
Yep.
yeah.
But I'd love to see what is so
I wonder if
important.
they're doing documentary? I mean, why? It seems pretty big. Why wouldn't you?
Maybe. I mean,
I hope so. Be
if
pretty
they're
cool.
if they're not, I would think it's because Intel doesn't want their IP out.
Right.
You know,
Could be.
I don't know how much of this stuff that they're moving
Yeah.
they designed in house, and they may go. It could be broken down, but then people would see, contractors would see, people would see our intellectual property.
Well,
so we would rather
Oh.
pay the ridiculous amount of money to move it in one piece. That way, nobody can see.
this stuff is so specialized, though, that there are a few companies in the world that can do this type of thing. Intel, TSMC.
Yeah.
You know, if you think
Texas
back
Instrument.
to Taiwan Semiconductor. Anyway, if you think back to a couple of years ago where we had these major chip shortages,
Yeah.
there were a couple of different reasons. One, chips hadn't progressed a whole lot, and two, there are very few plants that could produce these microprocessors, and if they're shut down, you know, they're not getting produced. So
Well, I mean, really, because of the chip shortage is why we're starting to make here in
that's
America.
why we're seeing
Like,
the Intel plant.
it's
yeah,
taken this long
It has.
for us to get to this point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Well,
does
maybe this weekend we can go watch that thing move.
got to find it.
They've got maps where you can
Oh,
find
they
it.
actually do.
They don't have specific times.
They
when
have
they'll go by it.
grandstand
Right.
sections.
I know, right? They don't have specific
There's a marching band in
times.
front of
I
it.
actually need to borrow my headset this weekend because I'm going to be actually announcing it on TV.
Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen,
Yeah, exactly.
Approaching at 5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
is that Santa Claus in the back? No, it's just a.
I just think it would be really cool to see. I think it would be
I agree.
An Outer Belt
I agree.
Live.
a work of art, you know, to watch how they finesse it. You know, all the
We may
people
not-
that it requires to navigate that
Sure.
around, what is that, a 45?
Yeah.
90? What is
90,
it, 45? 90?
Well, when you said he drove it like a fire truck, I always thought to myself, like, ever since James Bond, let's bring it back, James
There you
Bond.
go.
James
Right.
Bond in A View to a Kill, he jumps in the back of the fire truck and he's like swerving all
Swerving,
over,
yeah.
blocking the firemen as they tear through San Francisco, which
Yeah.
is really funny because it looks nothing like San Francisco looks now. I always thought, like, oh, that'd be so much fun and so cool. But knowing these guys are moving at 10 miles an hour,
Yeah.
I know, right?
not as exciting.
No.
How do they keep from being bored? Because like, okay, so he's got to go around that corner. Once the tractor goes around that corner, it's up to the guy in the back.
To
You know,
get the
to get the trailer
in
around.
Not the way
place,
that I
yeah.
was watching it, though.
Oh, is
Because
there
the
more
way,
to it?
The way that tractor will set it up, right? Because it's essentially
Right.
what you're doing. You're setting up the way everything else tracks. Like, he really hugged. They may have even removed the stop sign on the corner, but he really hugged that corner, went down into the, like, dirt or the side median, and then just kept running it. Like, he didn't bring it back up onto the road. Like, he ran it down the length of the dirt, the edge, whatever you want to
Right.
call it, for quite some time. And then at some point, there were people directing, like, now's where you have to cut back up onto the road because now the guy at the backside's got to do his whatever maneuver to get you going again. It wasn't like he just made the corner and stayed on the road. It was,
Oh.
there were a lot of people out there, and I'm sure walkie-talkies or some form of telling that driver. And he didn't take it out of swinging it around here, you know. It was a slow and steady, and
Yeah.
and that back was just and the back guy, he actually kicked out a little bit further on the original road they were on
Right.
to try to. I don't know. It was pretty amazing.
So if the truck's turning right,
Yeah.
he's steering left, that back end.
yeah,
I could just see it's like when you get in the straightaways. We're going straight,
Yeah.
and we got 5 miles for our next turn.
Well,
and
part
we're
of-
going 10 miles an hour, so it's going to take us 30 minutes.
Yeah. Part of that trip is sponsored by Doritos, Frito-Lay.
Frito-Lay
And he's got a
company.
case of munchies sitting next to him.
Nice.
So when he's traveling on that straightaway at 10 mile an hour, he's
I hope it's those extra cheese munchies. There's the
So I wanna know if they
no,
had
you
to-
got to have the spicy ones.
No, I don't do
Yeah.
spicy ones.
Oh,
So I want to know on their 1 year of
they're crazy.
picking the routes specifically, if they had to pick routes that didn't have dips,
Well, they're looking at all that stuff.
Yes.
hills,
bridges-
even a little hill,
Bridges have to be inspected.
no bridges,
Well,
maybe no bridges.
That's impossible. You can't get across Ohio without hitting a bridge at
Well,
some point. So
Are you referring to overpasses or bridges?
Okay, so
Going
maybe.
under an
Oh.
overpass.
Well, the bridge is going to have to hold your weight at
Right.
390,000
Yeah.
pounds,
At
And-
900,000.
or
900,000,
900,000.
yeah.
and then the width.
Yes.
Some of these
Sure.
bridges are a little more narrow, but I would think uneven ground you
Yes.
might drag. So are we
Railroad
making?
tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think
You don't want a
about
high, you don't want a high center 900,000
their
pounds.
their list of everywhere they turn from left, right.
Yeah.
Like it was a very lengthy list of where they were turning, but I
So
wonder if they had to go out and scout every road
Yes.
to make sure.
Yeah.
So we had a heavy move down in Louisiana. I don't know how heavy it was, but it was a big move. It was a chemical plant. It was one of the I'm going to call them tubes. I don't know what you call them. That is for refining gas.
Okay.
Um,
A still. know.
basically,
I don't know.
it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
A catalytic converter. I don't know. And it was a giant piece of steel, and so they actually went down the road. He would take the exit, get back on the interstate, and go back right. They had one where it was a kind of like up there by, doesn't matter, but you get off on the right,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to make a U-turn back underneath.
Wow.
And so no matter what, you have to go to the bridge, and they actually removed the section of bridge.
Jeez.
They shut it down, removed the section of bridge so he could actually get under it and get through it.
Wow.
But I mean, you're talking about a company like, I mean, Intel's huge.
Yeah.
ExxonMobil,
Yeah. Huger.
huger. ExxonMobil's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we give them a new bridge.
Exactly.
Like, it just made it happen.
And
So I
you were,
mean,
you were talking in a previous episode about this shell is the biggest in the country, the one in Baton Rouge
Exxon,
or Exxon.
yeah, ExxonMobil and
Well,
Baton
it's
Rouge
the
is
river.
largest.
They're all along the river.
It's the largest refinery in the country. Yeah, it's huge.
I wonder why they didn't helicopter it.
900,000 pounds.
It's a
It's-
lot of weight to helicopter.
Can you not do 2 helicopters?
That's more dangerous.
Even at, well,
and that's a lot of weight still
and they
too.
do
I
it. That's
suppose
a
if
lot.
it was to fall out of the sky, you would have to like sky map your.
Well,
I
you
mean,
put a
you
par-
think
put a
about-
parachute on it.
You think about an A380, which is like the huge Emirates plane that's super nice and all that stuff that none of the American carriers have it. That plane holds like 500,000 pounds, and it's the biggest, baddest of them all.
So
900,000.
we're definitely not flying it.
No, 900,000. You'd have to have like 8 helicopters, trying to fly in sequence. They have to be the double, rotor one. Like it just.
Yeah.
Or you do like the movie Up and just tie a bunch of helium balloons. to
I
it.
get
Yes,
it.
helium balloons. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
The trailer actually had like 4 or 5 sections to it, and they all had pendulums.
Yeah.
Like how they were hooked. And anyways, if you have a chance to watch it, you viewers, just Google Ohio Superload.
Yeah.
Yep, you'll see
pretty cool.
plenty
Sounds
of
like-
information on it.
Sounds like you have all year to.
Yeah.
Yep, no,
Yeah,
at least 2
24
months.
of
At least
more,
2
more
months.
months.
Yeah.
Okay,
24 loads over the next few months is what they said.
that's crazy. I wonder why they won't let him do it over Columbus Day. Because even like, not Columbus Day. What did you
St.
say?
Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day.
Because even in Columbus, everybody's celebrating St. Patrick's Day on Saturday, not Sunday. When it actually is, you would think that would be the safer time for it to go, but
People will still be out though on Sunday.
will they?
Yeah.
Who
I will.
knows?
You know what they should have done? Do it during Ohio football game day.
That's right. Ain't nobody in the road. It's
Maybe-
ghost
Nobody.
town.
maybe
They're
they're
all in
giving
the
those-
stadium.
Those state troopers the day off to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be.
It is a Sunday too, so I mean, a lot of heavy loads don't move on weekends. Period. So
Like Intel, and then Amazon's building a brand new fulfillment center.
Ohio's growing like crazy.
Oh, like
Right.
It's a wonderful
Yeah.
place to live. It's a horrible place to try to buy property.
Columbus is growing like crazy too. I was reading an article. It's been probably 6 months, a year ago now, talking about the expansion of warehouse space for distribution centers locally in and around Columbus, and it's just grown like crazy.
Like crazy.
Just insane.
Our
So-
little one of the little shops we use, ELW, down in Obet's,
Yeah.
giant Cardinal Health facility
right
built
down the
right
street.
right around the corner. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's happening
Mm-hmm.
here.
Is that what went up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cardinal Health.
Oh,
Cardinal
I didn't
Health,
realize
yeah.
it was
And
Cardinal.
then-
You haven't been in there in a while, huh?
I've seen it being built, but I
Yeah.
never saw a sign it.
Over
Well,
by
it's done and open now.
over
Oh.
by Yellow, where Yellow used to be.
Yes.
Mhm.
So now that's XPO. We
Yeah.
assume
We assume because there's XPO
there's
trailers
XPO
in there
trailers starting to fill
Okay.
in.
Yeah.
So
Got
I'm
it.
pretty sure XPO bought that lot, and I thought they would because it's a nice whatever.
Sure.
But across the street from them, there's warehouses going up like crazy.
Yep.
And I thought all that was apartment and housing area, but there is tons
of
Of
warehouse
industrial
space.
warehouses being
warehouses.
built. Being
Wow.
built,
Yep.
not like have been there for years. I mean, being built. And they just redid that road, and I think it's because of all that construction. It's just crazy. I'm actually a little nervous about the, like, there's the whole not in my backyard. Now there's, with all kinds of stuff, now there's not in my backyard with these warehouse farms. There's a lot of communities
There are.
coming up and saying, I don't want a bunch of warehouse in my community.
Wow.
And I kind of get it. They're an eyesore.
Yeah.
Like a big, giant, massive building, even if it's not a ton of truck traffic, it's like
Yeah.
it really robs from the scenery, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, it really does.
We did a side tour one day you and I did, Vincent, on the way back from Capital City Trailers. Somehow we got kind of out there a little ways, but they were like, land was just flattened, and they were building a whole bunch of these warehouses or cross-docking or whatever you want to call it. That's down in that area.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even down by the airport. Maybe that's
Yeah,
where
there's
it's
a
did
lot
it-
going up down there.
Yeah, there is. And we did a back roads drive out to Buckeye Lake one time, and once you got past New Albany and everything, warehouses popping up left and right
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
It's bananas. I wonder, there's so many warehouses popping up. I do wonder, like, at what point do we reach critical mass
Sure.
where there's more space than what
Sure.
we're kind of there now with office space, where the pandemic really hurt us, but even before the pandemic, there was more office space available than what there were people renting it, and I think we're getting there with warehousing, and so I wonder, is there a warehousing bubble that's coming
Oh,
where all these companies because these warehouses are being built by giant billion-dollar companies, who just lease that space out. Like Amazon's not really building a lot of their warehouses; they're renting them. And so I wonder if there's going to be a point where those companies find out, hey, we built too many of these warehouses, and now there's an oversupply, and now warehousing space drops to a point where the buildings aren't sustainable anymore. I wonder about that. We could be a long way from that. I don't
Sure.
know. But I have thought that, where I'm like, how many warehouses can you build?
Yeah.
It seems like at some point you just don't need more space.
Do you need a special license to do super loads or heavy loads? Do you need something other than
A
a
Class
Class A?
I
Other-
don't believe so.
And
I-
other
I
than
mean,
experience?
I know that the company I worked for before I came on to Hyfield was they did a lot of heavy haul, and one of the things they specialized in was actually wind turbine parts, whether it was the tower or the blades. You didn't run heavy haul until you worked your way up. So you worked your way through flatbed, and then you might pull. I forget what trailer they charged you with, but you worked your way through different styles of trailer, whether it was a double drop or an RGN, and then it was how many axles are on your trailer, and you worked your way up, adding axles as you got experience. So I'd imagine that these guys that are doing this have a ton of experience hauling heavy and oversized equipment, but I don't believe there's a special license. The state might want certain experience, possibly, but it's all permitted. The routes are prescribed, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it takes some serious skill to do this stuff.
You're a Class A holder. And Jerry, you? Yes, Class A?
Used to be, not no more.
Would either of you consider doing heavy
Oh,
haul?
heck yeah. I would love to
heck
haul heavy.
No.
I wanted to.
I would
No?
love to haul heavy.
You never had a Class A.
I never
but
had a
you
Class
thought
A,
about
but
it?
I wanted to. That was part of the discussion Eric and I had when we started this company, was these box trucks and expedite, and learn that business really well. And once we had some trucks running, I was going to go get my CDLA and then start pushing myself through, doing my minimums at different companies to be able to get my experience, then go to other companies. And then I did want to go flatbed and then heavy haul. That was definitely something I was very interested in, because I think it's cool. I like those giant Western Stars, those giant Kenworths and Peterbilts that they're using. Because it ain't no... Listen, I love my Cascadia. It ain't no Cascadia pulling this freight.
No.
So it requires a
not.
certain kind of truck,
Yeah,
you think?
well, the manufacturers only make those super heavy gross vehicle weight ratings on certain trucks.
Ah.
And so you are talking... And there's only a few that make them. Like Volvo doesn't make one that'll pull that They do in Europe, but not in America. It's kind of weird. Mack used to, but I don't think Mack even makes one anymore. It's really just Western Star, Kenworth. I don't even know if Peterbilt does anymore. It might literally just be
I
Western
see. So
Star.
it even takes required specialty equipment as far as the power unit
Yeah.
Yes.
to haul heavy
yeah.
loads.
So you have to have a ginormous engine, obviously,
Yeah.
super high horsepower, which most people don't put in their trucks because that equates to terrible fuel economy. Then even your transmission's weight rated. Like at some point, you have to have a heavy duty transmission with heavy duty coolers
Yeah.
to be able to handle all that pressure that's going to be on that
It's
transmission.
interesting.
Yep.
I didn't even
It
think
will
about
not
all
be
that.
none of that's going to be automatic transmission. All that's going to be manual, 18 speeds. Reduction gears in your rear end, which they don't even put in tractors unless you specifically request it. It's a little more common on dump trucks, but like heavy haul uses it. You've got a reduction in your transmission. Obviously, that's what a transmission does. Then you've got a reduction in your rear ends. So then you even step it down further, which enables you to have all that horsepower while going super slow.
I see.
Because even like our trucks, if you put our trucks in gear, you take your foot off the gas, off the brake, and you just let it roll, it'll roll faster than 10 miles an hour. Like it takes us a little while to get
Right.
there, but it'll on flat land, it'll go faster than that. Some carriers, ELDs, will allow you to operate the truck under 5 miles an hour. So what that means is like if you're in a spot and there's a reefer going next to you that's keeping you awake, or some trucks popping off their air valve, you can turn the truck on and move it a few feet. That's the whole goal, right?
Right.
But on our trucks, if you do that, you have to keep your foot on the brake. You can't just let
You
it
can't just let
go
Yeah.
because
Right.
you'll exceed that 5 mile an hour
Yeah.
limit. Those trucks, they could do that at 1 mile an hour. Like it's unbelievable
Oh, they're
how
geared that low.
they're geared
I get
that
it.
low to be
I
able
get
to
what
do
you're
that.
saying.
Yep.
Okay.
Heavy
So
haul
it's-
and triples are things I'd like to pull one day in my life.
I don't know about triples, but the double 53s, that looks cool.
Oh, yeah.
It does look
Yeah,
cool.
that does look cool.
And it's so
And
crazy.
you?
They
Those look
they
cool.
allow that
No?
they
No.
allow that in they allow it in Wisconsin. I'm sorry, Wyoming, which is like the most dangerous place to
Yeah,
pull a
with all
trailer.
the wind. You can do it across the turnpike too, though. They're called California doubles. I think one's 53 and one's shorter,
A 40.
or they're both 45s. I think. So you can do
Yeah.
that across the turnpike through Ohio. But when you're pulling stuff like that, you're not running through city streets.
No.
Your depots or your terminals are right off the highway.
Well,
So your biggest turns are
Yeah.
coming off the highway.
well, even in the Ohio Turnpike, if you look, there's a drop yard at each side
Oh,
of
yeah.
Ohio
Yeah.
where they can run in,
Yeah.
drop the trailers, connect them, yada yada, and the local company can run in and grab one trailer while the other person
Right.
carries the other trailer somewhere else. So
Yeah.
like they've
In Oregon, UPS, FedEx, Saia, all the OTLs would run triples.
Yeah.
And that was cool to watch. I'd love to do that one
did
day.
they have to run the like long truck
Yes,
banners and
they
stuff?
did.
I remember that.
They did, yeah.
Really cool stuff. California, they do a 57-footer. There's a company out in California that runs cab overs.
Oh, probably up along 101 in the Northern California area,
Yeah,
where you can only be so long, and you can't get a long-nosed truck because the roads are so narrow
correct.
and the turns are so tight.
So because they go by overall length and not trailer length, they run 57-footers, and they run Argosies, Freightliner Argosies, and they're just rebuilding them with all the technology, and every time California throws a new emissions rule at them, they rebuild it again, and they rebuild it again, and rebuild it again, so that it maintains its legality, and they can cram 57-foot into it.
Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Walmart ran a pilot program with a Freightliner Argosy cab over, a drone box built on the back of it, and then a 57-foot trailer. And they said, like, this is a model we'd like to move to because we can cram more in the truck, and our freight's light. I mean, retail freight's not heavy. So we just need cubic feet or whatever. It never went anywhere, never made sense. The trucks they were using didn't even have emission systems controls on them. So, like, they wouldn't have worked. It was a neat concept,
Right.
but
Right.
it wouldn't have worked. How do you empty a drone box? Because all those Walmarts and retail stores, they have angled doors for you to back up, for the trucks to back up to. So how do you get a drone box? A drone box is like a cargo box on the back of an 18-wheeler where the sleeper would be. How do you empty that out? Right? There's no easy way to do it to get it
Right.
inside the store. So it was a cool concept, but it never would have worked practicality speaking. But my sister worked retail. I worked retail. Have any of y'all worked retail?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever unloaded a truck?
No.
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 Have you? Okay. So we both had experience like in retail and unloading the truck. To get there at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, get there like 8 o'clock in the morning, unload the truck, put everything away all day, that kind of thing. And I can't tell you how many times we opened up a half-empty truck because they just didn't have enough time to fill everything up. Not that they sent everything we ordered, just that the amount of time allowed them to fill that truck up
Right.
that much,
And send it on its
and
way.
then send it on its way, and whatever didn't make it will be on tomorrow's truck. Or we got at that place we got trucks twice a week. You can ideally have all the cubic space you want, but if your timing doesn't allow you to fill it up, if you hit a weight capacity before you fill the
Right.
it just didn't make sense.
That makes sense.
It was cool though. The fact that it was on a cab over, I love cab overs. The fact that it was
Yeah.
on a cab over is really neat.
It's
But-
funny when I pulled a reefer, we hauled produce. Just about every load I ran had multiple picks to fill that truck as much as possible because produce isn't heavy generally
Yeah.
either, but it had multiple picks to fill that back of that trailer up as full as much as possible. It was all going to the same distribution center, but they just were as efficient as could be.
Yeah.
So you're picking up different farms or distributing farms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Make a full
Yeah,
trailer.
to make a
Yep.
full trailer. Yeah.
Well, and lettuce, like I saw a documentary where they're talking about lettuce and how it runs from California out to New York City.
Mhm.
There's a dedicated lane, and they are paid by the cubic foot, not by the pound. And how they were able to maximize all that. It was
Yeah.
fascinating.
Wow.
Of course, they were running. It was a cool deal. I saw it was a husband and wife team, and they were running two separate trucks. The wife drove, or it might have been the husband. One of them drove a Kenworth truck with it was a Peterbilt. It was a Peterbilt truck with a tiny coffin sleeper, itty bitty little tiny
Right.
thing. Other one had the full condo sleeper on it, and so what they would do is they would run, stop for the night. One would get out of their truck, and go in the other truck, and then they would stay in the truck together
In the condo sleeper.
in the condo sleeper, and then the next day they get up and go again. They
Yeah.
never once used the coffin sleeper, but if you don't have a sleeper on your truck, you can't log sleeper time. So that's why they had to have this little condo
Right.
sleeper on the truck.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
crazy.
Wow. That's,
Swift was doing something similar with vans. Remember that they had they were hauling Sprinter vans or ProMasters or something out of Mexico, and they would have a Cascadia with a full double bunk sleeper and a flatbed trailer. Then they would have an M2 112 with a little half sleeper pulling the same trailer, and they would run down. They would go to Mexico, load them up with vans,
Right.
drop them off at the distribution center. Then they would literally put the M2 on
the back of
on the trailer of the Cascadia, and then drive back to to the border, and unload it and do it all over again.
wow.
It
Wow.
was genius.
The fuel savings.
The fuel savings, the logistics, everything. And again, if you were in that Freightliner M2 112, they call it a half sleeper. It's the bare minimum legal requirement of a
Right.
sleeper. It looks like an extended cab Freightliner. It was ridiculous, but it met the requirements. But everybody slept in the Cascadia. Nobody slept in that M2. It's interesting, like the way
Yeah.
companies find to
Sure.
work around the rules.
Yeah.
Mats will be coming up next weekend.
Yeah.
Mid-American Truck
already?
Show,
21st, 22nd.
It's next weekend.
I'm not
Yep.
ready.
21st, 22nd, 23rd, right?
I thought we weren't going to be there on the
But the shows,
show is through the
Yep.
23rd. Yes.
Yep. they can still go even if we're not
Yes, you can.
there. So yeah, Mid-American Truck Show. Look forward to that. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Louisville.
In Louisville. I've already been. People at ARI have asked, "Are we going?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there."
Yeah.
So can't wait to go see that. And Jerry on Expediter Boogie. Are you familiar with Jerry from Expediter Boogie?
I sure am.
He has started doing lives
Yep.
and putting those out randomly, sporadically on Facebook. You just got our YouTube. Reach out or like, subscribe, whatever you got to do to see when he's doing these, because again, they're like rapid fire. You never know when they're going to happen. But I do know Tuesday, if you're watching this when it comes out on Tuesday, there will be one, because he has been so kind as to ask me to join him. So I will be
Nice.
joining him on Tuesday.
My
To
first guest.
yes, but yeah, I will. I can't wait to be there. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know what we're gonna talk about yet,
I
But
have a few things in mind.
Not to steal your thunder, but he asked me first. And I was like, Jerry, I really think you should ask Patrick first because you know how he gets. So you should ask Patrick to be your first guest on the show.
so like I said, Tuesday,
I didn't.
Tuesday,
That did not happen. It did not
Tuesday,
happen. I'm
Vince
just
from
kidding.
Lokeshire Expediting Adventures will be on with.
No. Tuesday, Patrick will be on, but I did ask Luke Shire to join me the following week.
And we
Oh.
said yes.
Oh, we did.
We did.
Of course we did. We did say yes.
You know what the nice thing is? Comfort of our own home.
Yes,
Really? We'll
I'm
do it
anxious to see
remotely?
how this goes. Yeah.
Nice.
Should I record from my office with the airplanes behind me, or I was thinking if it's a pretty day, do you think I sit outside?
As long
No,
as your-
because you get the wind noise from
I was
outside.
about to say, as long as your audio's good.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Or you could sit in here.
You could build yourself a plexiglass box to sit in.
I could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you get plexiglass from?
The
I
plexiglass store.
I forget to take the wrapper off, so all you see is like the Duraplate,
Exactly.
Duraplate,
Exactly.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
that's
excited
awesome.
about your live. I enjoyed your last one.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
If you don't catch a live where one of us are on with Expediter Boogie, we do typically join the comments, so you can usually see me, Vince, Mel, Eric, Don.
Wiltshire.
Don, if Don's not on camera, he usually is on the comments, so you can still interact with him.
Don's a hell of a heckler.
He's very much so a heckler. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Middle of season 2, you've been joining us for a few weeks now. We appreciate that. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. If you really like what you see, please share this with your friends and family, co-workers, other truck drivers you meet. We just want to entertain people for a few hours. For a few,
A few hours.
for
Feels like a
little
few
bit.
hours.
Just a little bit.
we just want to entertain y'all for a little while. We get on the road. We love what we do. We enjoy each other's company. We just want to share our life a little bit with y'all, and this is a way we chose to do that. And if you like what you're seeing and you're like, hey, how do I become a driver? Because that sounds really fun. Reach out to Hyfield's Recruiting. The link is below, and the phone number as well. If you look actually right above Vince's right shoulder, there is the phone number right there. And if you look over the shoulder between me and Vince, it's a bunny.
Oh my goodness.
It's a cute little bunny.
Cute-
Anyways,
it's a cute bunny.
it's a cute bunny.
Yeah, it is a cute
Uh,
bunny.
The bunny might not make it, just so you know.
The bunny will make it. So,
It's going to be roadkill by the time it gets up there.
but we.
Here comes Peter Cottontail.
Oh my gosh, I remember that song. Whoa, what a throwback. Oh gosh. Anyways, thank you all for doing what you do. Until we see you again, stay safe and make good decisions.
Don't leave money on the table.
And keep those wheels a turning.
Bye.
Good night.